Well, this sucks. Game is just about over, I guess. I think it is over in some places. We're about a minute behind. Anyway, looks like 3-1. They're about to kick it. So it looked like they had their first goals were basically just they just put on the goal and it went in. So I'm talking. So I guess we deserve this. I guess we do. Um, yeah, it's over 3-1. Uh, all the goals were nice. The fact is, we didn't get the one we should have got in the first half. They had three really good goals. This is a good team, a team that probably is going to be in the top four this year. I think that there's some issues here, obviously. They kind of played us off the park in the second half. We still had chances. I think that, again, Rashford, early in the second half, he has Hoyland right there for a tap in, and he tries to go to a near post, and he's got to do better with that. Overall, I think he had a good game. He didn't score anything. This is very frustrating. It is. The team that we played was probably not even worth Hoyland. The entire team is not worth him. And there were times in that game that they look like prime Barcelona. So I've got to go over to. This is bad because my college football team is playing now, and hopefully this is not a bad day for me. I don't think that we were huge favorites in this game because Brighton has been playing well all year, other than that little blip they had against West Ham. But I'll watch Mark for a little bit, see what he has to say, if he's fucking going crazy, which I'm assuming he will. Again. Oh, I just saw myself. Interesting. Can I do that? I guess I can, can't I? Anyway. Mark. Yes, I agree. Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird how our tactics just. He waited till 84 minutes to get our more offensive players on the field. I don't understand that. But they had three decent chances. And, one of those are probably half chances, and they made them. And we had the same amount, and we did nothing with them. I think that Rashford had Hoyland wide open in the second half, and he just decided to try to go to the near side, and he fucked that up. So it's just not good at all. And this is going to be, it's not good. It's just not how this is going to do, because it's going to stay in the media. Last year, after those first two wins or two losses, we righted the ship and had a couple good games. But this is not. Yeah, I know. But again, it's not. Brighton kind of does this to everybody. They're like Man City light. They are. I don't. This is bad. This is really bad. Oh, this is this thing. The great disgrace. Manchester United 1, Brighton 3. It's one of those things. Again, you play okay, but they definitely deserve to win it at that game. At the end of the game, even though we had chances, that Marcus still cannot look up when he's passing the ball. He has Hoyland right there for a tap in the second half. It would have been 1-1, and who knows what happens after that. They probably still beat us because they look better than us overall during the game. But good God. And he does this way too much. He got away with it almost in the first half after he pushed the ball out, and then Hoyland put it in. But it's just, with everything going on with us, it's just not good. It's just, not going to get relegated. I think we'll probably play better versus Bayern Munich. What's going on here? Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. Won't let me do this. Uh, yeah, but that's not really the loss of the game for us. They when they broke when they broke and they overloaded us. They had guys wide open with cut bats, and these guys didn't miss. It's like watching FIFA out there. Hit the ball out there, it goes right in the goes in the corner. I I don't know what he's going to say after the game. I don't know. I don't know. But that was not good. And if we didn't have all those shits going on in the background with Anthony and Sancho, nobody would really. Well, we'd be upset. I trust that we're going to get out of the group stages. I do. I think we'll get something at Calarasa, yeah. But I don't know. I don't know. It's just strange how we ended that game. I mean, I remember years ago we put four strikers on at the end of the game, and um, we would just continually go forward and stuff. But we had Bruno in the back at the end of that game, and they could have scored two or three more goals at the end of that game. Um, the fact is, we couldn't get the ball off of them. When we got the goal, we had a couple other half chances and didn't do nothing with it. Um, it's just when you're talking after the international break, two weeks, and we wait for him to come back. And I think for the most part, the players played okay. And here we go. Mark is saying it was a disgraceful performance. I don't think that this. I think we got better with it. We got better. We got beat by a better team today. They don't have better players. They're just a better team than we are. And last year the defense saved us so much, and we're just not doing it now. Yeah, it's weird. I don't. I think he thought at that point that maybe the game was off or was lost, and he wants to make sure Casemiro is going to be fine against Bayern. I don't understand why he took off Hoyland, but I understand that as well because his national coach said that he can't really play 90 minutes twice a week yet. So obviously he's going to play against Bayern. Um, we had the thing is that we had just as much opportunities that they did, but theirs were just better. And apparently their players are better at actually finishing. We aren't. We suck. We absolutely suck. We've had this issue forever. We have nobody that can put the ball away. And any times in that game, well, I'll agree with you at the end of the game. I don't understand the substitutions. That I'm with you on that, Paul. I don't think there was anything wrong with what he did so far today. I think what changed in that first half, the first 18, 20 minutes, we were fine. We had chances, didn't score. And then De Zerbi changed their tactics, and he didn't have an answer to that. He didn't decide to do something. And again, when you don't have Fred, I mean, people want to say, yeah, people would say that Fred was this and that. He would have been fine in this game today. We definitely needed him today. It's just, and we sold him for 9 fucking million euros or some shit. It's just, and that was the guy we got rid of. We didn't get rid of Scott. We didn't get rid of Maguire. Yeah, back then. Yeah, listen, this year, our defense is just not as good as it was last year. Not the fact, I think the players are just as good. And there's some upgrade probably at the. Well, he actually had 3 or 4 shaves today, and the last one was pretty good. But all those goals, no one's going to save. There's nothing you can do about that. It's just these guys. It was like watching FIFA. It really was. I've been doing it my entire life, man. Well, yeah, but he's injured, man. We don't have our number one team, but that's no excuse. We got played off the park by a team that didn't have 6 of their starters in this game. And they didn't change their way they played. They just said, you know what? We're going to keep doing what we're doing. It reminded me of how we used to be. It seemed like that. But their style is exactly the same. It don't matter who they bring in. As I said before, Brighton is basically Man City light or junior. They're very similar. And they lose guys and they sell them for $100 million. And they bring other guys in like that, and they don't matter. Their recruitment is so good. Well, the question is how much power that he has on recruiting players. I don't think he really wanted Casemiro. He wanted Frankie de Jong. So, but once he's there, he has to play him, right? So it's very, 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 very difficult. But you can't. I'm not. We had enough chances again. Again, we shouldn't give up 3 goals, and they could have had 5. Maybe at the end. Nobody was talking about Casemiro till the end because we were not going to get Frankie de Jong. He's like, okay, if that's all you're going to let me get, I'll take him, of course. No, he does. Good Lord, he does. And I don't know what I mean. Again, I don't really blame the players too much. I thought Reguilón played pretty well. I don't think any of them were like shit. I just think that we got beat by a better team on the day, and if we don't finish our chances, we get exactly what we deserve. That's an interesting point. I'd have to actually look at that. You might be right there. As far as not winning the Premiership, you're right. But again, there's only been like 4 or 5 coaches that have won the Premiership, though. So, or is it 5? You got Mourinho. Did Tuchel didn't win it, or did he win it? Conte, Pep, of course, Ferguson, Wenger, Klopp. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. Obviously, that could be the thing that actually will be his demise because we went in and he bought all these players in and guys that they were familiar with because he wasn't getting. Yeah. Yeah, he is. It's somebody he played with, right? That he coached. So it's the same type of thing. And that's a valid reason. That's not what Mourinho said that when he was having going the shit that he was going through. He said, "Where are these players right now?" And that whole heritage speech. Look it up if you don't remember it. Just look it up, heritage and Mourinho. When he talked about where are the players that for Manchester United, how they're doing well, the next players. You know what? I think the Bayern actually will give us some respect because of our name. I think we'll be okay. But heritage, yes. I was expecting so much more, and I think I thought we were gonna get something the first half. I just don't understand why he waited and left McTominay out there the entire game, and Eriksen out there for the entire game, and then bring on Wan-Bissaka. I think that Reguilón was one of our best attacking threats. He really was. I mean, I liked him at Tottenham, and I definitely like him here. I just think about Rashford. If he just gets his head up there, then I think we draw this game. I do. Now, it might be 5-3 their way, but we don't deserve anything because at the end of the game, when it was like about 80 minutes in after we scored, they holding the ball for like 4 minutes of there, and we couldn't get it off of them. Like I said, they're like prime Barcelona. You would think, but we're not scoring, man. That's the issue. And it's so frustrating because you know that it's there. Well, everybody loves his game, right? You can't always blame the manager. I hear what you're saying, man, but these players have to finish it when they have the chances. Again, I will tell you, they're going to look at all the statistics, and they're going to say that we had ample opportunity to score again. Yeah. Well, that's an interesting point. I think he could have had this could have been a great game for Rashford. He could have had a goal or two, and he could have had a couple assists. And but and I hate to say because this is the whole thing that Ole used to say, fine margins. But if that first goal goes in for us and it's 1-1, it's 1-1 at the halftime, I think that we're going to be okay. We might lose it, but I think that we'll play a very more tight game, and then we'll try to get the goal. All I can say is that we had a great goal on our side. Great that it was a young guy that came in from the youth team, made the shot. Yeah, made that shot. So great for him. He came on and did what he was supposed to do. That you're supposed to do when you come off the bench and pack the game. But at least he came in early in the game. You can't give you can't bring on Garnacho at 85 minutes in the game. You can't do this. If it's one goal maybe, but that's not enough. And he's trying to do stuff all by himself, and that's what young guys do. It's going to be interesting, the game that the team that we play against Bayern. I think this might have been Martinez's last or worst game today. I don't blame him for the goals, but some of his passes were not what I expect from him. Yeah, it's something that we used to do. I don't get that. I don't. And maybe he just was thinking that we're gonna. I mean, after I don't know. I mean, again. I don't think the players were not given it again, and I don't think that they lacked the impotence to do it. I mean, guys like Mark Goldbridge are going to sit there and say we have that issue as well, Paul. You're absolutely right. But he's trying to change that. He is. But I don't think we were disgraceful. We got beat by a better team, guys who took their chances. Again, this Brighton could be undefeated because they pretty much dominated West Ham and they got beat on the break. So this team, the guy actually that I was watching him here in the United States, we're watching first of all, I'm not being sexist, but I don't like females being announcers. Okay, I don't. And when she was the announcer, said we're going to fucking lose, and we lost. But the other guy that was with him has said that this team is going to be contending, and that's crazy. But yeah, we need to get better. Yeah, that's the issue, Flowers. Like, actually, when they made the changes, we didn't change, and he waited till halftime, and we didn't really change from that. I thought maybe something else would have changed. I just think I'm all for tactics, but McTominay is playing a position that he don't ever play, and he's too slow against Brighton when they could just go around him. How many times at the end of that game did they just go flying past our back four? Again, you can't have Bruno in the back four. He's slow as shit too. So we don't have people that are that fast, in our defense. And of course, we miss Shaw. We miss other players in the team. I don't think that Mount would have been Mount probably would have gotten stuck in. When it's like, when they have the ball for 3 or 4 minutes and when no one's fouling those guys just to let them know that we're there, that's when I get upset as a fan. I just go in and take a fucking foul because they're just going around us like we're nothing. This is fucking Brighton. We have one player that's worth the entire team that you have. Now, that's not really true because but whatever, their winger is probably worth 80 or 90 million if someone sold or bought him. So he'll probably be the next Brighton or the other Brighton dude to go. And they'll make a lot of money from that, and they'll get 3 or 4 guys in recruitment, and they'll just do the same style, and they'll be a fucking pain in your side. They're just that good. People have to understand. Yeah, they're actually doing better than we are. It's not about having individual players. You have to have a style of play that all players understand this, so anybody can come in. What Brighton plays is basically total football. So I know there's been discussions that touch coaches don't do well in the Premiership, but total football was basically, I would say, it's a Dutch creation, and they play that way. Everybody can hold on to the ball, and they all can dribble it, and they can all pass it. They're never, ever nervous on the ball. They're just not. They just do whatever they're going to do, and they don't make mistakes. Now, they did against West Ham, but it was more of they were pressing for goals. They got braked on, and West Ham finished their chances. We just don't. Marcus was out there on the left, wide open all the time, and he was running with the ball, and he was taking all guys on, and here's Højlund just flying in there, and he gets the ball twice out of probably 10 times. And I get it. He's Marcus. He made 30 goals last year. But if he's going to play out there, he has to understand he has to pass the ball. And he did at certain times. He did. But that play in the second half, when he's past his last defender, Højlund has got his hand up, says he's going. He's passed. Was it dunk? You've got to. I think Lindelof actually played okay. I think, again, I don't. We got called out 3 times in that half, and they lost, and we lost because of it. Again, I don't think that those guys were not playing, and I don't think that their heads went down. I don't. We got better we got beaten by a better team, and they actually finished their goals. So if you take the last 10 minutes out, because we're pressing to get a goal, they had 4 or 5 opportunities. They scored on 3 of them, and they're all on shots on target that were not going to be saved. Maybe the first one, maybe because it looked like Onana was looking the other way, kinda. But I hear you, man. I hear you, Paul. I really do. But this is kind of like my stress relief during the game, or my week. I agree. I do. I thought that but he hasn't really been good since he got back. So he's still suffering from his injury, I think. And I think he's lost a little bit of confidence. And I think he likes, maybe he's a better player when Varane's around. Maybe that's the issue. He didn't really play well with Maguire last year, the first 2 games when we got destroyed. He didn't play really well in those games either. So I think Varane is a calming influence in the back. But as others have said on here, our guys are too fucking old. And Varane is an old guy, and he's injury prone. And we got Casemiro, who's playing at Premiership. You give him. That's what I give. I give Casemiro a lot of credit for coming to the Premiership. He could have went to Serie A or stayed somewhere in La Liga, and he would. But the fact that he's basically he's playing like 2 players, because I don't think he's going to blame anybody. There's nothing really to blame today. They got outplayed. He might say that the goal should have scored in the first half. Again, I'd have to see that again, because you know how the rule is. The ball can be passed. You can see the green in between the ball because the ball goes like this. So it might still be in play. And that line does not have an actual goal line technology. So they made a decision to do VAR, but I'm not really sure it was right, because one angle looked like it was fine. The other one was. But again, Rashford waited way too long to pass that ball. Now, it worked out. Højlund did a number 9 thing. He cleaned up. He was a garbage collector there in the box. You think? I think we played okay, though. You can talk about our spirit. These are humans, though, right? And there are players in the team probably love Sancho, so they're probably upset about it. And there are other people on the team that understand what the coach did. We had the same thing when Ronaldo was here. We had cliques in the dressing room. But I don't. Again, I think there's nothing that Ten Hag can say other that they got beat by a better team. They took their chances, and they're second in the league right now, right? Aren't they they've won 4 of the 5 games, right? They got 12 points. They're 6 points against us. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I could tell you, I don't know what you guys actually know about this team. When Marcus was in the youth team, no one thought he was going to be what he became. I'm just going to let you know that. I had a lot of contacts. Some of the people, like, if you don't know if you watch Stephen Housen and stuff, not him exactly, but guys who know him because these guys used to go and watch him and play him at Carrington all the time. And they were all shocked when he was actually called up and he scored those first couple of games that he scored. They didn't think he was going to be the guy that was going to be the savior for Manchester United, and he took his chances. And early on, first 2 years, nobody could stop him on his pace. But he's lost some of that. I mean, if you go back and watch his first couple of years, once he was past you could never get to him. Now people can get back and get to him. And you're right, he has changed his other game because he has to do it. So he has these little tricks that he does, and sometimes it comes off, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't. But just he's got to be more mature in his game, and he's not a young guy anymore. So you wonder how much we actually can improve. But I still think, I said it before, I think this team is going to just destroy somebody. I just do that. I just think that Højlund and Rashford, and if we get Anthony back or whatever, I think there'll be times that we're going to do this. But today, it's always going to be a hard game. It's always been a hard game for Brighton the last couple of years. It's not. They beat us twice last year. Bullshit at their place at the end of the year. But at this time, they're better. Yep. Yeah, maybe. But they're professional, right? And they should do that. And especially if you're talking about Rashford, this is a guy that's grew up. He's another guy that went through the youth team. He's been there for 15 years. Yeah, you got to give Brighton. I think that we played better against Arsenal than we played today. And Arsenal's probably a better team. But would you take Brighton? I mean, Brighton could definitely handle Arsenal. I think that would be a great game. And when that guy actually said it, one of the announcers said that this team has a chance to be title contenders. That's crazy when the treble is just across the street in Manchester. But I think that they definitely could be in the top four. I don't think that there's going to be teams that were in the top four last year that's not going to be there, and that could possibly be us. Well, yeah, I know. I know that. I know. I say the same thing all the time about them. But again, we don't know how much stamina that they have, what they're supposed to do there in that situation. Like I said, at the end of the game, where it's around 80 minutes in, you've got to take the foul there when they're holding on to the ball that long. You just got to do it. And the fact is, and I said it at the halftime, we have no destroyers in the midfield. Casemiro is a good player, but we need a destroyer there. And I'm hoping that that's what Amrabat's going to do. And we'll see, Do we really think he's going to be the answer? This is a guy as well that Ten Hag coached before. So if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do, or if he's going to be injured, it's going to be a hard. I don't, unless we just go crazy right now and we only get like 40 points, he's not going to be fired. Well, he makes the goals, see. And he, you know what I mean. He is. I mean, if you're in England, you know his status in England. I mean, he is. You can't really say anything about him. I can say it because nobody really watches me. I get 2 or 3 people on my live. I have less than 500 subscribers. Nobody cares what I have to say, and we all say that if we had that. We all know that if we were, if we played in with that shirt on, I'm 58 years old. I would go after and hit somebody. If they were holding the ball for 3 fucking minutes and we're trying to score, even though I could never get to them because I'm too slow. But I would take somebody out, take the yellow, and get something. We need somebody like that. I thought Martinez was going to be that kind of player. But that fire is gone as well. I mean, I'm just thinking of that game against Liverpool last year at home last year. That just the crowd was electric. He was everywhere. Sancho was unbelievable that game. We see that there's a team there that could be that way. This is true. Yeah, you're right. Because I'll go after Mark Goldbridge and I go after him when he says stupid shit. So I'm not a public figure like those guys are. But sometimes when they say stupid shit, he's getting upset. They only gave Onana 3.5, 3.8. Wow. 5. I think again. I don't think the players played that bad. I think they got better. They got beat by a better team, and the tactics. This is all on Ten Hag. He couldn't make the changes, and then the subs at the end. I'm okay bringing on Palestri and Garnacho, but do it about 50, about at 70 minutes in, maybe. It was still 2-0 at that point. He only gave Legolan a 5. Get the fuck out of here. What game are these people watching? We got beat by a better team on the ball, but it doesn't mean all the players were below a 6. Reguilon played a really good game. Well, he's more of he said this. He's no longer really a fan, even though he thinks he is. He says he's an entertainer now. He's an entertainer. I'm like, he's a WWE now. So, he's going off in these players. Well, he is. He talks about not being the mainstream, and now he's on Talk Sport, and he still talks about all the people on the mainstream. That dude has the biggest platform of anybody in the community, and that includes Talk Sport. So he does, and I started watching him when he had 20,000 followers. He didn't have enough to finish to fill up a stadium, and then he eventually changed because he became a celebrity. And I'm not saying I wouldn't be the same. I probably would be. He has his own little office up there across across Old Trafford. He has his own thing. He's got his own brand. He has 4 other channels. The dude's making a lot of fucking money. Well, yeah, he said, yeah. But that's his stage name. It's been a long time. I actually stopped watching him after he got about 1 million because he started going down this road, and he continually says, and I did a video the other day about it, about what is actually abuse and what is actually critical analysis, and I'm like, the dude just hurls abuse all the time of these players. Now again, what is actually abuse? But he doesn't talk. He will talk about the character of a guy. Yeah, I know, and what it actually means. He talks about the character, but like Maguire, that he should have taken the money that we were going to give him. And today, apparently, there's a story that came out by a very high regarded reporter that said that Maguire never said he was not going to pay the money or not take the money, that he was ready to go to West Ham, but we weren't going to sell him because we couldn't get Bavard in. And I'm like, and this guy's been talking for a week now that this is his lack of his character. I'm like, you can't. That's a personal insult about somebody's based on his. Yes. Well, yeah, he just defended Pogba all the damn time, and there some of the issues that was against Pogba were not fair, of course. But the idea that he doesn't understand, and now the last couple days, he's coming on. Last night he went crazy about it. Well, I'm allowed to do that, or what are you talking about? Somebody called Talk Sport and said the reason why Maguire is getting abused because of me. Dude, you've been talking about him ever since he started playing bad. Okay, the question that we have to ask about Maguire, he is not the right player. He doesn't fit the profile for the type of player that we need. That's true. But I think that he's pretty much liked in the dressing room. I think he's liked with England. He's been a captain for both. But he talks about this whole thing about him having to prove himself. Well, how many times? It's like if you're like I'm a doctor and I went to doctor for 50,000 years and now you're telling me how to do my job. Yes, he could play there. And you know what? I think he would have played better today than Martinez did, because I just think it was his worst game. He only gave Hoyland a 5. Ooh, why'd you retract yourself? Did you say something bad? But it's all about opinion, like Mark says. It's always about opinion until it's not his opinion. And then if you say he's the reason, what are you talking about? I'm just a fan. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. And you're going to deal with the fact that people like me are going to call you out on it. And I just wonder if he actually saw my video. I don't think he does. Every video I do that I put his name in, I send it to him. Because he's like, they're saying things they're saying about me now. And I'm like, good. Somebody needs to do it. The Beth needs to be called out as well. These are public figures at this point. I'm sorry. You know, he gave, okay, that's good. Well, let's see what he gives Ten Hag. This might be his worst one. Yeah, I know he hasn't seen my videos, but the fact is, what I just said, he talks about it that night. But it just shows you that other people are bringing it out. You can't go on Talk Sport and say what you say on your own show, and then say that you're not the same issue of Simon Jordan or somebody else saying something like that he gets offended by. You're doing the same shit. You might say it differently, but you've talked about his character, and that's worse than a lot of, except the racial stuff. When you sit there and talk about the man's character, saying that he should have just left, he shouldn't take his contract and get what he deserves because he signed that contract. Manchester United signed that contract as well. He says he's going to play and try to get his position back. That's the character I want. Yeah, he is at this stage. He is. He gave him a 3. I think that's probably fair because he got out coached today. And I guess hopefully he'll go through and Ten Hag will realize his error. I don't know. I had to look. Maybe they got a press run. Maybe there's something about. Has anybody heard anything about after the game what Ten Hag said? Let's see. Yeah, but this. I mean, in my video, what I said was, it's not really that strange that former English players, national team players, who are now pundits, might defend English players. I don't think that's not a big issue. You know, Mark always talks about if this person had a British passport, he wouldn't have any abuse or some shit. And I'm like, all these things are basically individual cases. They just are. Is there anything here? Oh, I gotta see. Are we losing? Probably today, the way my game is. No. I think they probably can score here, but it looks like they did something. This is going to be a game that my teams are going to lose today. We're ranked 3rd in the fucking country. We're probably losing this worst fucking team in the conference. Why are they showing the Boston College side? Why am I watching the coach? They're beating us, motherfucker. Oh my God. I'm in northern Alabama right now. My wife's family lives here. Years ago, I was stationed in Mississippi. Yeah, I am, but we're losing. And they're driving again. I knew this was going to happen. Anyway, this is gonna be worse for me because I mean I grew up with Florida State. I didn't start following Manchester United until I was like 15, 16. No, and I was stationed in the 80s in Mississippi. I used to go down and watch Alabama all the time, and I kind of fell in love with the tradition that they had down there. And back then they weren't very good. in the '90s, and where they had a couple of good seasons during that. They haven't been good. The last 15 years, they've been good. But the tradition I liked. But they're now, but they are they think they're better than everybody else at this point. You know, I'm a Seminole guy. I went to school there for a little while, then I joined the military after that. But Florida State is always, when you think that they're going to have a group, you know, we beat LSU this year, and then we won last week, and everybody's like, we're just going to go in against Boston College. Oh, yeah, you go. Yeah, you're right. Um, yeah, Texas is it's one of those weird things again, because I've always been somebody against the SEC, because they're like, there's no way teams that come out of other conferences can come to the SEC and do well, and I'm like, Texas A&M went in there, beat Alabama when they had Manziel. Texas could have beat them last year, beat them this year. The idea that Texas can't come in and win the SEC, or Oklahoma can't come in the SEC and win the SEC. And this is the thing they've been talking about Florida State for 40 fucking years, that we couldn't go in there and do something. I said, nobody, the teams we had in the 80s and 90s, 15 years finished in the top five, could have won 3 more national championships. I mean, good God. Exactly. And you should have beat them last year. So it's like, and it's everything's changed with NLA, the transfer portal. I don't think it's a good thing, but it takes away a lot of the dominance that Alabama has. It doesn't mean that Georgia won't win the championship again. Hopefully they don't. I don't think they're that good. Again, I don't think the teams now are as good as they were 10, 15 years ago. The fact that the Florida State 2013 team has not looked at the top 10 of all time, I don't understand that. But again, we might lose today. I mean, this is what normally happens. Yeah, I agree. I mean, we did that. We beat Auburn in the final. So we do pretty well against the SEC. The problem is we have issues in our own conference. And this whole frickin' hurricane is up in Boston. Not that that should make matters anything. We have better players. And I knew this was going to be a trap game because we're playing Clemson next. And now Clemson hasn't been playing well, but last week they were playing better. So this is like a trap game for us, and they should know this. But nobody is talking about any upsets. Our name didn't show up anywhere, and I think we were clearly on upset alert. We are. So we have this great defense. Okay. What is it now? I say I can't even watch them anymore because I get so upset watching them. I can still watch Manchester United. Yeah, they had the best. How did they get? Oh, wait a second. Why are they there? We scored all 3 points in one fucking quarter against them. Not so sure about the uniforms today from us. What is Farwell's? What the hell happened? They got something on the back of their jersey that says Farwell's. Somebody must have died. Here we go again. It's like years ago when Clemson had that one guy died, and they beat the shit out of us. Yeah. No. I like him. I don't think he's not at that level. He just isn't. So I just think that we played LSU early in the season. It probably helps us. But I think that we have a lot of people talking about us. And these guys are young, a lot of guys that are not been in the system that much. And it's going to be a hard game today. It is. And we'll probably, hopefully, run away from in the second half. But right now, it's not looking that way. Yeah, this was a bad. I knew today's United was going to be difficult because Brighton's going to be difficult regardless. But Yeah. You would think that that'd be easy for them to understand. Oh, great. They're down there at the 5. I just missed it. And they had a big fucking play. It's going to be 14-3 here in a bit. Motherfuckers need to wake up. Who is Forwells? What the fuck is this? Yeah, it's crazy how it takes something like that to get people's. I mean, years ago, there's a movie called Radio about a Clemson dude, and we were playing Clemson that night, and they brought him out in the field. He went down to, because I've been to Clemson before, and you go down, you touch the rock there, and he came down the field, and we lost the game right there, and they beat the shit out of us, and we were like we were top 4 or 3 at that time, but that's Clemson, and I kind of like Clemson as far as the university and where it's at, and so far all the fans that I've dealt with have been fine. Um, you just know it. We can't. There's no way we get to the playoff if we lose to Boston College. Even if we win the ACC, we're not getting in because we don't play anybody. We play Florida, and Florida beats Tennessee today. That will help us. But Florida lost to Utah, and we play Miami. Now Miami, if you know, I don't know. They've always been I thought maybe we get past these first 4 games, and then it'll be the old times when Miami just screwed us from us winning shit. So I don't know. It's going to be a bad day. I'm thinking already. It's going to be 14-3 in a second. What? How much did we score? How much? We only. Oh good God. Boston College. Didn't they lose to Holy Cross? I mean, good fuck. Oh God. You never could. You can never. These are kids. They all can. And the same thing with Manchester United, even though they're pros. But some of the guys are so young. You never know. And I think that's why Ten Hag is how he is with Garnacho and Perlestri. I don't understand why he's not. I don't know. Where do you live in Texas? Like in Austin? Yeah, I know. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're close. You're closer to like Texas A&M and stuff. Is that a good area or not? Because I know that Houston has nice areas, and have other areas that are not so great. I mean, every big city has that, right? We have it here at Huntsville as well. I mean, Huntsville doesn't really have a really bad area though. They don't. Even what people might say is a bad area is not really. Even during all the riots and stuff a couple years ago, we didn't really have any here. We had a couple protests, didn't have any. Nobody went in and did anything. That could be because a lot of people carry guns around here. I don't know, but I just man, I just if I was in England right now dealing with the fucking media now, they're gonna talk about this and all these fucking assholes are getting on. I wonder how they got down here, because it was like, oh, it's 4th and 1, and they're going for it. This is what you got to do, right? If you want to beat the team that's ranked well above, you got to go after them. Oh fuck that! He made it. Fuck. Holy, their center just pushed our guy back 3 yards. People think there isn't a whole lot of difference at this level when it comes to this college football. That and it's just based on motivation and matchups and shit. We have got to guys wide fucking open. Oh, that was a nice play there. Did are did they score on us? Maybe you're ahead of us. So it's like second down and goal for PC right now. I'm streaming it, so I'm usually like 30 seconds behind the actual thing. Do you watch UFC? Oh my god! All right, third down. Gotta stop him here. This thing has been a Florida State fan for 50 years. um, their defense is supposed to be so great, but so many times that they give up shit against Tennessee in the national championship years ago. T. Martin, third and 8, when we're back in the game, looking like we might actually win. Was it 80 years later, 90 months, 90 yards later? Yeah, I know, man. Good, I guess a good. I don't even know. But Izzy's kind of crazy though, and he kind of like deserves it, to be honest. Too much fucking time. All right, good enough. No fouls. No fouls. All right, they stopped him from getting a. Yeah, people forget that they won a national championship with him and not Peyton. So, I think that it's possible that that year. But the thing is, we had to play our third string quarterback in that game. I think we would have won that. I really do. And it was such a bad game too. Such a bad game. And we did that against Oklahoma. Oklahoma, we lost 13-2, I think it was, in the Orange Bowl, which would have been another championship. We were so shit in that game. That was when what's his face was there. Um, and we were like a 17 point favorite. And then was it Snoop Minnis couldn't play before the game? I don't know if it was a academic shit or he was. In that whole game, we had like 7 guys drop the ball. Our defense played well the entire game. We, and people were upset because we got to play for the championship because we only lost to Miami that year. Um, and Miami had lost one game as well, and they gave it to us because we were the defending champions, and they gave it to us. Just like, and I'm thinking we're gonna be, and we never beat fucking Oklahoma. We always beat Nebraska. We couldn't beat Oklahoma, and then we finally beat them last year when Oklahoma was 6-6, and we barely beat them in the bowl game. So it's like that's our 93. I have them on my wall here. Well, no, the other way. Wait a second. I don't know how to do this shit. There it is. Charlie Ward. That thing's worth like $300. That jersey. That's from there that year. I saw him printing a lot in that game that year, and that year we lost to Notre Dame, and people were upset because Notre Dame felt they should have been in the championship. They didn't really have a championship back there, but there was no championship game. We got to play Nebraska because they were number one because they were undefeated, but we lost to Notre Dame up there. But then Notre Dame lost their last game of the year at home against Boston fucking College, the game that I'm watching today. That's kind of a weird thing. But okay, we're only down by one score here. So, but I just when that hurricane said they might go toward Boston, and they're like, oh, here we go, because against the team we played last week, we scored. We did 30 passes in the first half against a team we should be able to run across, and we didn't look good at all. And I'm like, I'm just an old school. I'd rather run the fucking ball like we did against LSU. He did? For what? Was it for the Marcus possible penalty or the ball going out of play that should have been a goal? Wenke, I think Wenke only lost one game, maybe two, but he was hurt as well. He could have played against Tennessee. He was on the Jet depth chart in '98, but we won the next year. No, you're not out of order. I was just saying how. Yeah, okay. Um, I was just talking about how Brighton, that Brighton is kind of like a Man City Light or Man City Junior, and um, but it's the same. But look, I had the same opinion at halftime. Yeah, um, yeah, he did 13-2. um, I had the same opinion because you can't look at it. Yeah, yeah. Well, I can remember when Texas got railroaded when they lost to Texas Tech by and 1 second left in the game, and you guys had like a three people that was the same thing, and the little statistics said this, and you guys didn't get to go for the championship. You mean with Pogba and Lukaku and all those players? You might be right. But they got 12 points out of 15, all right? They're second in the league right now, I think. So, you can say what you want to say. I mean, they definitely, I think they're going to finish in the top six, and they might be the top four. We're not going to be there at this point. So, but I hate to say it's only been 5 games, but it's only been 5 games. But, well, again, I'd have to look at it, and I think that you're going to, oh, here we go. We get the ball, and we're going to throw the ball on the first down. We're supposed to have better players. Oh, it's against them? Wait, okay. Oh, well, they must have 10, 12 guys on the field. I'm going to love it. I'm going to love it when Texas and Oklahoma, yes, they are. Um, when Oklahoma and Texas get in the SEC, I really think it's going to be very, very challenging for players that think or teams that think that they're going to destroy these players, these teams. So we'll see. Go. Oh my God, we got a first down. I do like the helmets because I have that helmet here, but um, yeah, it seems that way, and it should be that way. Good God. They're not even sold out. Can you fucking believe that? It's not, the stadium's not even sold out. It's not going to be that way. I don't know if we played Miami there or Florida. We know we always switch. So I don't know if we're at Florida this year or at Miami this year. Because Miami had like half their stadium full against Texas A&M, and they played well, won the game. But this Miami, they have not 5 national championships. Run with it. Why are you running? Okay, that worked. They actually caught that ball. It's wide open. Good pass. I don't like our uniforms today. That's where you bar. There you go. There you go. You should be go, go, go. Oh, you're talking about the Northeast. Other than unless you call Penn State kind of the Northeast, but yeah, they don't really support college football as much. But there was a year that they were finished. They were like the top five, and then we went up there and beat them when we had a bad year, and we went up there and beat them. They were in the top five at that time, and they had some decent players that came out of Boston College. So I love this time of year though. Like normally I get to watch. Well, how's it against us? Whatever. Exactly. I did. When I looked up here, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I did the same thing. Yeah. Well, they're in the Big Ten now, right? They didn't used to be. They used to be an independent, just like Florida State. Um, that's old school, man. Yeah. They, I think Boston College was also an independent as well because they played Notre Dame all the time as an independent, and then they went to the ACC. I think. I don't think they're part of the original ACC football lineup. I think they came later. We neither were, of course. We're an independent as well. We tried to go to the SEC, and Florida said no. This was years ago. Just run the ball, even if there you go. Just run the ball. So got a score here. I've been on it for an hour. I'm crazy. Got a score here. Got a score. What is that? Make the move. Move it again. Touchdown! There you go. All right. That is good response there. Hell, we might have as many fans there as they do. There are a lot of people that are Florida State fans all around the country. I kind of grew up in it. Yeah, yeah. You remember Syracuse had a good team too, man. I remember years ago that Miami used to go up there. Uh, I always watched Miami as well. Um, but they had was it McPherson quarterback? They were undefeated one year, and they were undefeated. Then they actually tied against Auburn, I think, in the Super Bowl, and they ended up undefeated. They didn't go for it at the end. So yeah, the game's totally different for me. I like the old huge solar pads and guys look like they were, they're big, huge people and stuff. And now we don't see that anymore. Or the tearaways. I love that shit. Earl Camel, being shirt coming off of them. Um, yeah, Texas back then. Yeah, I still, I'm just still shocked. And 100 years later, that Texas beat USC. I think the USC was the better team. You probably had a better quarter. You had the better quarterback. But how USC lost that game? They had first down. The guy lost the ball. Then it's 4th and 2. Didn't make it, and then you guys go down and win it. Early in that game, it should have been blown out. But and I think a lot of people put that Texas team above the 2013 Florida State team, and I don't think that's right. But again, they also beat probably the best team that didn't win a championship, that USC team with Leinart and um, Reggie Bush, and I mean they were unbelievable. I think they beat Oklahoma the year before that in the hey, we had them in Miami for a while. Um, you might be a little bit old. I might be a little bit older than you. Did you see Campbell play? Did you see Bo Jackson play? Did you see uh, Barry Sanders play in college? Oh, did you? Wow, that's good, man. In your generation, you're right. I think you're right. So, but I just like that they say the LSU's the best team ever. Or I still the national the Nebraska team that beat Florida is probably the best team that I've seen when they beat them in the I think the Fiesta Bowl and they put like 60 on them. That was the team we beat the year before, and they just and they pretty much, to be honest, in that game, even though that's got us our first championship, they outplayed us. Yeah, I mean Bo Jackson. You don't. Oh my God. But Bush was like Jackson. Once he got in the open field, you couldn't catch him. It's just, it's just unbelievable player. And unfortunately, both of them didn't have really great um, careers in the pros. Jackson because he hurt himself, and then I don't know how it went with Bush. I think he won a Super Bowl, right? I think he was on New Orleans when they won. I think he won that year. He was good player. Golly, just tie the game, and then we just okay. There's a flag there. Push him back. It could also be the ACC cruise to help Florida State. It's not always that way. This might not be against us. It might be against. I don't even know. Okay. All right, guys. I think I'm. He was. But if you remember that game in Texas, he lost. He was like in open field and he just lost the ball. It's like threw it up, and Texas got the ball back. And I think at that time it was like 10-0 or 14-0. And if I think if USC scores there, it's 21-0. I think they're up by at least two scores. And then the game kind of changed after that, and Vince got played a little bit better. Um, but the last part of that game when USC was up by 12 points with 6 minutes left. All right, see you later. I'm out too. See if we can win the game today.